Hey guys, it's Mrs. Goblitz. We're back. We're doing part 2 of the slope formula notes. This part says going backwards, and we'll see what they want us to do here. So it says, sometimes you must complete the ordered pairs using a given slope. For example, if the slope of the line passing through the points -5, 6 and 5y is -4/5, then find y. How would I do that? Well, let's start by rewriting our ordered pairs the way we're used to seeing them, which is side by side. So we have -5, 6, and 5, y. The next thing we would do is label those. So we have x1, y1, x2, y2. Then we would plug it into our slope formula and solve. So my slope formula would be n equals, but since I already know my slope, let me just put it right here. Let's see what we get. y2, so that's our y, minus 6 over x2, 5, minus my -5. So here I see that I have a double negative, so I need to make that a plus positive. I still don't know what that's going to be, but let's just simplify what's on the bottom. So I have a 10 on the bottom here, and I need it to simplify to 5. So what would I do to 10 to get to 5? I would probably divide it by 2. But what would I need up here if I divided it by 2? I'm thinking I need a -8. So let's see what we can find out. So we have 10 on the bottom, -8 on top. If I put that into my calculator and I simplify, I would get -4/5. But that doesn't really help me. What exactly do I need for the y? Well, y minus 6 equals -8. That's what I would need. So if I add 6 here and add 6 here, y equals -2. So my y should be -2. Let's see if that would work. So if I need this, -2. -2 minus 6 will give me -8. 5 plus 5 is 10, and that would simplify to -4 over 5. Not too bad, a little bit more complicated, but not too hard. All right, let's label our next set, or our next 2 sets, x1, y1, and x2, y2. I'll wait for you guys to do that as well. All right, let's plug in what we know. So we have y2 minus y1. That's going to be our 6 minus -2 over x2 minus x1. So I have x minus -3. And that should give me a +2 over 1. So let's simplify here. I have double negatives, so I'm going to make them both a positive. This would give me a +8, and I still have x plus 3. So, what would I do to 4 to get to, or what would I do to 8 to get to 4? 8 to get to 2. I would divide by 4. Absolutely. So what would I divide by 4 to get to 1? Probably 4. But let's just make sure. X plus 3 equals 4. We're going to subtract 3, x equals 1. All right, let's see if that would work. 1 plus 3 equals 4. Absolutely, 8 over 4 simplifies to 2 over 1. We're good to go. On to the next one. Right here, they tell us that our slope is 3 over 2. So we have y2, -7, minus y1, which is minus negative 4, over x2, which is just our x, minus x1, which is 0. So here we're going to have a plus positive, and I know that negative 7 plus 4 will give me negative 3. X minus 0, well, I don't know, but I do know that this simplifies to give me a positive 2. So if I wanted this to be a negative 2, then I would just have to make that a negative 2. Let's see if we're right. X minus 0 equals negative 2. Yep, we can add 0. Doesn't change anything. So let's see if that would work. We have negative 2 minus 0. That would give me negative 2. A negative divided by a negative gives me a positive 3/2. So my x is going to be negative 2. Let's check out our next examples. As I scroll up, feel free to label the rest of yours. Take a second there and label all of your numbers. I'll give you a second to catch up. All right, let's set it up. So here we know our slope is going to be negative 9 over 2. So we have y2 minus y1, so we have y minus negative 4 over x2 minus x1, so we have negative 5 minus negative 3. Let's simplify what we can. I know that negative 5 plus 3 would give me negative 2. And then y plus 4, that's all I know here. And that should equal negative 9 over 2. So now that I've simplified all of this, I rewrote this over here. Let's take a look at it now. Another way you can solve these is by cross multiplying. You see where we got our setup with our slope formula, okay? We put in our slope formula, we know what our slope is. Now we're searching for that missing value for x or y. So what I did was I simplified here, and that's where I got those two. Then I took this and brought it over here. So we just have a clean working space. So in case you were struggling with the other way, you can cross multiply. And I know that negative 9 times negative 2 would give me a positive 18. And then if I cross multiply here, I need to make sure I put my package with parentheses. So I have 2 times y plus 4. Well, let's just distribute. We'll get 2y plus 8. Bring down your 18. If I get rid of my 8 over here, 10 equals 2y. Then I can divide by 2, and y will equal 5. So, you set it up exactly like we did. Simplify, cross multiply. Set it up, simplify, cross multiply. Let's try that again. So we have negative 1/2 equals, this is going to be your y2 minus y1, so it's 3 minus 2, over your x2 minus x1, which is 6 minus x. Well, I know that 3 minus 2 is 1, and I can't simplify 6 minus x. So then I'm gonna just rewrite this negative 1/2 over here. Now I'm gonna cross multiply. Anything that has more than one term, I need a package with parentheses. So I have negative 1 times the quantity, 6 minus x, equals 2 times 1, which would give me 2. I need to distribute, giving me negative 6 plus x, because a negative times a negative is a positive, equals 2. And then all I have to do is add 6 to both sides, and I get x equals 8. Not too bad. So really, it's whatever way that you are more comfortable doing it, that's the way I'd recommend it. Let's set this one up. We have y2 minus y1. We have negative 7 over, negative 7 minus y over x2 minus x1. So I have 1 minus negative 3. We can simplify here because of the double negative when we get a plus positive. So I have negative 7 minus 1y. I just made it negative 1y just to remind myself that's a negative 1. 1 plus 3 is 4. They tell us that our slope is negative 4, and I know that's negative 4 over 1. So let's cross multiply. Let's get my red out here. Make sure that we package with parentheses. We'll cross multiply here. So we have 1 times this entire thing would give me negative 7 minus 1y equals, and then 4 times negative 4 would give me negative 16. If I add 7, that would give me negative 9. And lastly, if I divide by negative 1, y equals 9. Not too bad, we're getting there. Just a couple left. All right, we have y2 minus y1, so we have 8 minus 7 over 11 minus x. 8 minus 7 is a positive 1. We can't simplify anything more on the bottom. I'm going to make it a minus 1x. Then I'm going to set that equal to our slope that they provided, negative 1 over 5. We're going to package with parentheses here and cross multiply. So negative 1 times this whole thing would give me negative 11 plus x, or plus 1x, because a negative times a negative is a positive. 1 times 5 would give me 5. And then my last step would be to add the 11, and x equals 16. So as you see, these are a little bit more complicated, but there's a way to do it. There's a method. There's a couple methods. It's whatever works for you. All right, last two. Go ahead and label those ordered pairs, x1, y1, x2, y2. All right, let's plug it into our slope formula. It's right here. y2 minus y1, which is just the y, over x2 minus x1. We can simplify what we know. 5 minus y, that doesn't simplify, so I'll keep that as it is. 0 minus 4 is negative 4. Let's set that equal to our slope. All right, we're going to package with parentheses and cross multiply. So we have 4 times the quantity of this whole thing, 5 minus 1y, that's that, equals 3 times negative 4. And so cross multiply. I need to distribute here. 4 times 5 would give me a positive 20. 4 times negative 1y would give me a negative 4y. 3 times negative 4 is negative 12. Over here, I'm gonna have to get rid of this 20, so I have to subtract it since it's a positive. Bring down my negative 4y equals negative 32. And if I divide by negative 4, y equals 8. Last one. Let's set it up, y2 minus y1. So we have negative 2 minus y over x2 minus x1, 9 minus negative 3. I'm going to simplify what I know, which is the double negative, or double negative becomes a positive. So I have negative 2 minus 1y, I like to put that 1 in front, over 9 plus 3 is 12. I'm going to set that equal to the slope they provided, which is 1/3. Now I can cross multiply, but I want to package with parentheses here. So I have 12 times 1, which would be 12, equals 3 times this whole thing, negative 2 minus 1y. So let's distribute this positive 3, giving us negative 6 minus 3y. Bring down my 12. If I add 6 to the 12, that goes right on the left, or on the right. Over here, I'll have a positive 18. I'll bring down my negative 3y, and then if I divide by negative 3, y equals negative 6. Alrighty, well that concludes our slope formula part 2. Thank you again for tuning in. I really appreciate it, and we look forward to working with you soon.